We're live? What's up? Are we live? We live?
We're live.
Okay. Hey guys, another live stream with Core Team Hawaii. So usually the way this works is people start stacking up questions. We did not announce this one or plan it or solicit it. So people will start entering the chat, throwing their questions in there. We love them. Please ask your questions. I will get to them on the next one, or my team, my partners will get to them on the next one if we don't get to them on this one. So even if you're watching this later, please leave your comments because we use these comments to answer your questions on here. So in that spirit, I'm referring back to our previous live and gonna address a few questions there. We'll get into the market updates, how things have been going in our business, some of the things we've been seeing, stuff like that. So got my production manager behind here who let me know when people start coming into the feed. One of the questions that we had last time that I don't think we answered was it was like I'm trying to save 3% down. I may not be there yet. Will Walker just closed on a nice condo. Thanks, Will. Anyways, I'm not going to spend time looking for it, but basically I just saw it before we went live. They said, should we reach out now? I'm trying to save up 3%, so they're trying to looking to do an FHA loan or whatnot. Should we reach out now? And I'll answer that compassionately and transparently, just like we always do, and that is yes. Like, we'd love to connect now. The way our system works is you sign up on our website, go to coreteamhawaii.com, and click contact us or book a call. And depending on the urgency, so if someone's like, hey, I would just want to move to Hawaii one day, then we'll take appropriate steps for that. Or like, I live in Hawaii, and like I just got my first job, and in 2 years I want to buy. We're not going to schedule a consult, at least right away, for something like that. But we want to get you, hooked up. So speak to a lender. Basically get that free financial advising conversation that you can get by speaking to a lender. Let's set a path for you to get to home ownership. And so are we going to rush and drop everything that day? No, but we would like to connect with you and be your advocates. Our goal, part of our mission, is home ownership, and not just that first home, but multiple homes, so that you build wealth through real estate, which is how most millionaires in America have been made. So yeah, point is, reach out to us. That satisfies that one. Here's some people saying, what's up? What's up? I gotta get, so you know what, now I have to get this live going on my phone, which I don't know how to do. Can I throw this to you? Can you bring it up? Okay, so what's been going on in the market? It's been an interesting time since we did our last live. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Silicon Valley Bank closed. I think the day after, a couple of days after, but there's been this whole banking scare, and there were influencers coming on saying the world's gonna crash and everyone's gonna start pulling out their money, and there's only so much that's FDIC insured, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I've heard some really educated points about why that would be scary and is scary, and we should be scared. I've also heard some really educated points about why it's really not that big of a deal. And on the not that big of a deal side, my lending partner said, hey, think about Silicon Valley Bank like this. They're a super niche bank in Silicon Valley, where I used to work, not as a tech guy, but I worked in healthcare. I got that culture in the startup, incubator, hedge fund, venture capital fund culture, They bank and give loans to all these certain niche groups, and then a lot of people started to withdraw and the bank collapsed. Thing about that is your First Hawaiian Bank, Bank of Hawaii, Bank of America, even Wells Fargo, although they got some sketchy stuff, in their history, but these banks don't operate the same way. They're diversified, leveraged, they multiply money by sending out loans on different things. They're not so exposed. So I asked her, I said, would you say Silicon Valley Bank's acting like a fund then, like a venture capital fund almost? Because if a VC fund went down, we wouldn't be like, oh, the world's gonna end, it's 2008 again. It's just like a fund failed, like a very targeted, specific niche financial venture and group fund failed it's not the end of the world. It may not even make news, right? And although she didn't want to say yes, she's like, principally, yeah, kind of the same thing. So that's a good reason not to be so afraid. I've also heard some really educated things about why we should be afraid. But what does that mean for you as a home buyer? Rates were going up, and Jerome Powell had come out and said, yeah, they're going up, and they're going to continue to go up. In fact, we're going to have a couple significant rate hikes for the rest of this year. Well, the 2 weeks or so following Silicon Valley Bank closing, there was it seems as if they, Jody, I think, is going to come in and she can speak more intelligently to this. But it seems as if they lowered rates to stimulate the economy a bit, get the fear out of the world, and said, hey, everything is going to be okay. And we had 2 or 3 files that were in escrow, and the timing of it was such that we called those buyers and said, hey, if we use the extension, we can get you a lower rate, significant, like hundreds of dollars lower per month, because we use the extension, we're within the contractual time, and you can get a lower rate. And that, patting ourselves on the back, that's something we're going to do. Like, if we can do better by you, we're going to bring it up, not focus on closing right away. We're going to bring it up. We're going to do better by you and do what we would want, done for ourselves. So that had been the joy of the last couple of weeks, couple of those situations. Just today, I saw a text message come through my phone saying that rates went up today. Now, I haven't talked to Pacific Rim about this yet, but they said rates went up today, and the scenarios that were ran for us a few days ago, they're a little different now because rates went back up. So if people are no longer scared, if there's no longer a reason to have these low rates, or lowered rates, improved rates, then they're going to go back to the inflation fighting rates that were. I think that's what's going on. If you stay tuned, and whether it's the recording or it's live, stay with us, and we'll bring in more of an expert to talk about this and kind of cover it again. So I'm gonna move on from that topic. You said we have a few questions? 3. Okay, 21 people in so far. Keep hitting like, comment. That'll influence the algorithm to bring more people in. We'll get a lot of great questions. So. Yes, Leila. Hi, Leila. What happens if Russia attacks Hawaii or the mainland? Come in. What happens if Russia attacks Hawaii or the mainland? Will Hawaii be wiped out? That is? Just come in. Oh, you're getting mic'd up. So if Russia attacks Hawaii, or the mainland, will Hawaii be wiped out? I don't know exactly how to answer that. I guess it depends on what they send. Like, if they nuke and send multiple nukes to Hawaii, then yeah, we're toast. I think geographically, Seattle's probably closer to Russia. I don't know. Fact check me. I know, like I learned, I was surprised that Seattle is actually closer or a quicker plane ride than San Diego because of the curvature of the Earth and whatever. So I don't know that they would necessarily attack Hawaii for convenience, but at the same time, we are very strategic in terms of the military bases here, so it could be that they want to attack Hawaii. I don't know. That's something that us Hawaii people have just learned not to question. We're not too worried about it, and we can't change it, right? And we are going to live here, and we can't change it. Another question. A few questions about moving to Hawaii. All right, we're going to move the camera and get Jody in. I have a few questions about moving to Hawaii, not too much about the market, more on culture, etc. Would love to talk in person. David, drop some questions in here so we can address them for the populace. We may or may not be able to talk in person when you're in town, or I don't know, do you live here? Let us know where you live, what your questions are. I'd love to answer them here. Now you have Jody Tonga from Pacific Rim Mortgage in the camera. So she's been on our lives before. You guys are starting to know who she is. And when you come in through us, we typically introduce you to her to get pre-approved and have that really valuable kind of free financial conversation. We're just asking people to ask questions. Is that Mahe? No.
Oh.
No. How's the rail project coming along? Are they going to be opening it up to passengers soon? Well, two-part question. We see it running every day now. You see it all the time, yeah?
It's supposed to go live End of July.
End of July now. So when you didn't close with them but one of our clients who closed, they were saying it's going live next month. So I don't keep up on it. I'm sure Instagram will let me know when it's like ready to go. But end of July.
That's the latest update.
It's running all the time. Like it
Every
used to be,
morning.
you'd see one here and there. Like you see them testing it. Now we just saw it today.
I mean, it's every morning.
Oh, update.
Because it passes here. Yeah.
It passes here.
We see it.
Like you can see it.
Not right now, but.
Update. We shot the IAEA video today. So few people recently been asking about IAEA, asking about IAEA.
IAEA's the bomb.
Is it?
Yes.
So I referenced Shane. I referenced her husband in the video because I was saying how tribes and cliques from IAEA, from like elementary, they're friends still.
Oh yeah.
Your husband and his best friend being an example. My brother-in-law guys who know your husband. Like, it's this small community that is concrete and industrial and metro and almost like remnants of Honolulu proper city still, but not. It's just like it's small community. It's weird how it achieves that, yeah?
Right. So that's why I love it, because it's like it's a small town feel, but yet major mall, yet access to freeways, yet
food, industry,
work,
sports,
hospitals.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really think of anything that
I'm gonna sit like this.
you need that you can't get, and that's not okay. Yeah.
Beach. There's no beach.
Yeah. Okay. There's no beach. Okay. You have to drive what?
15 minutes. So I was
20 minutes.
mentioning how I was asking him. I was like, like what kind of people, what kind of culture do you perceive? And then I was like soccer players and baseball players, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, and he started laughing. He's like, yeah, it's like, because it's Pearl Harbor's right here, so it's not like there's a beach culture. But it reminded me today, going up like Royal Summit, Pearl Ridge Estates, Aiea Heights, like some pretty amazing views that I think are under celebrated, yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah, Aieia's cool.
And neighborhoods, I mean, all the different ranges. Like you can get some super nice houses.
Did you guys ever consider like Royal Summit or Pearl Ridge Estates or something?
That was in our main wheelhouse. I mean, we couldn't find anything.
They hardly sell. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I think the age of people that bought up there,
but it's coming.
where they are, yeah, I think they're baby boomers, and
it's coming. There's a lot of old Japanese. There's a lot of, military. What?
She's not, I don't think, beholden to the same fair housing directing laws, steering laws that I am.
Oh.
Maybe you are.
I don't follow any laws.
Yes, you do. She's full of it.
Oh, you're not allowed to say old Japanese?
Well, let's talk about that. So in Hawaii, that would be such a normal conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like there's literally a town in Aiea called Filipino Camp.
Yeah.
Right? And we were in Aiea, the cat's out of the bag, and you went there, where my brother-in-law lives.
Yes.
Down from Pearl Ridge Estates. We were like, how do you say you're Japanese without saying you're Japanese? And Ken, who speaks Japanese, lived in Japan, taught English, wife is Japanese, daughter is Japanese.
Japanese.
And is Japanese.
Don't forget that one.
Don't forget that one. We got jokes there too. Kids eating natto for breakfast. But he was like, I noticed the bonsai tree game is good in this neighborhood. And so we stopped on the video trying to be, a little more professional. And we were like, I noticed the bonsai. We stopped, put the camera out the window, and I was like, notice the bonsai tree game is on point here. And there's a lot of older, Mr. Fukuras and whatever that own these houses up here, and they're not going to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to sell until their time comes.
Right.
Yeah. So I was just saying, like, whenever I graduate one day up to the $2 to $3 million range home, I could do one of the hills up here, maybe.
Oh yeah, I could.
But I want to be close to the beach.
Yeah. See, I mean, well, you need to be close to the beach.
But there's not really that. Like, Oahu is really, the beach game isn't as good. Like, it's not like the other islands. Because if you go from Sand Island, or really if you go from Kewalos. all the way to you got to go to Eva Beach before the beach really opens back up again.
Right.
So from town to Eva Beach, it's like not really good beach access anywhere.
Unless you're gonna, be in the North Shore.
Yeah, I mean west, north, east, yeah, but like where most of the population is.
Oh yeah.
And even Hawaii Kai, like the beaches are, it's not known for their beaches, known for their marinas,
Right.
and then surf breaks that are like way out, and
Yeah.
so really the whole southern facing side is, as far as Hawaiian Islands go, other than Big Island maybe, it's not like compared to like Kauai, there's not.
Yeah, because people that are going to Kewalos every day, they're not living in no $2 million houses.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our buyers that are like, we surf every morning, so we need to, be here. We have some people. St. Louis Heights is pretty good.
Yeah, like the mountains in town or the valleys in town. Yeah, you can go surf town all the time.
Yeah.
But all right, fun conversation. I can't believe you went there.
Aiea is the bomb.
The audacity. I would never. What was the second part to that question? What are your thoughts of the neighborhoods around the rail ties to rail station in regards to crime? I would be fair concern. So like in the Bay Area, the BART, like people are conscious of that. They're like, well, it's next to the BART, so higher crime. Like now you can ship people in and out that who may be troublemakers that otherwise want to go in and out. But at the same time, I don't know. People in Hawaii, if they wanted to go to Waipahu or Kalihi, like I don't know that there was anything stopping them before. So I don't know if we'll have the drastic change in crime that like a San Francisco would.
Yeah, it's not like BART. Like it's not going in such a big radius or
or New York.
distance.
But still, I wouldn't prefer the rail be by my house. Is what it, I mean.
Yeah, I would.
Not to be an elitist or anything, but I just mostly no one would unless they want that bicycle, no car kind of culture. And Hawaii will just morph to that thing a little bit more.
Which we have to hope that it will happen with the next generation, because it's not happening with us.
Hawaiians are pretty stuck to their vehicles, and people like ship their kids. I heard at one point we have more kids per capita than anywhere else, and then we take them to practice and to elementary, and we drop them off in private school and all these things. So, have you experienced clients who want to build new container homes in Hawaii? No, like really you can't on Oahu. Maybe can, but maybe can't. It's not really something I can help with. Big Island, you can do a little more modular home stuff, but no, not really. It's not my wheelhouse. Wayron, how's it, Derek? What's the cost of associating with a vacation property in the state of Hawaii in general in terms of tax, maintenance in general? So I don't know. My wife handles that, but there's a TVU. So with Bill 41, you have to get your vacation rental registered and get not only GE tax, general excise tax, which every dollar traded in the business world here has a GE tax assessed to it. But you have to get your TVU tax number. And do you remember how much that is? I don't.
The cost to get it?
No, like how much tax on the dollar?
I think it's like 1 to 1.5%.
Yeah, okay. And then your property taxes currently are just normal. So it'd be like, was it $4.50 for every 1,000 or 0.45 or whatever. But there's a bill, I forget which number it is, where people want to make homes that are being used for vacation renting treated as commercial or even worse as resort, and pay like an 18% property tax, which could really change the game. Could take people from cash flowing and break even to the opposite.
Yeah.
Maintenance, etc. I think just typical cleaning. Like our cleaner costs like $500 per turnover, but we do 30 days at a time. So, yeah. How long is pet quarantine for dogs and cats and rabbits?
It's long. So
it depends on how you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that pre-health checks and stuff that you can get ahead of time. The thing taking the longest is going to be the rabies test. There's blood work associated with that. And I think the shortest time period, COVID kind of messed it up, but I think the fastest you can get it done is about 2 weeks. I think the longest, depending on how far you are away from a lab, is like 4 to 8 weeks.
I don't know anyone who's done it in 2 weeks.
I think one of our buyers just said
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 2 weeks fast.
2 weeks, yeah, because it's right in the...
Yeah.
He was like, I just drove it to the University of whatever.
But people fly on the planes with their dogs coming over, etc. So it just depends on how you do it. We'll make a video.
Yeah, that's a
we're
good
way
one.
overdue for that video,
That's
to
a
be quite
good one.
honest.
Yeah. But
30
I would say
days.
the overall process to get your dogs here so that they do not have to stay in quarantine, which would be literally you would land here and they would land and then they would have to stay in a quarantine area, is ahead of time is you need to plan for at least 90 days.
Cool. Next question, Mark Marquez. Aloha. On a flight now to Oahu to look at some properties. Moving my family from Carmel Valley, San Diego, North County. That's North County, huh? For the Aloha spirit and bringing my parents with me to do multi-generational living. Question, best elementary schools, public or private? Mark, hit us up. Are we connected already? I'm sorry if we are. But if not, hit us up.
What's the name?
Mark Marquez. We got to do a consult. But since you're flying and apparently have good Wi-Fi, best elementary schools. So they tell us not to talk about this because then I'm going to say the school's good. You're going to buy a house there and then you're going to want to complain about me. But fact of the matter is greatschools.com ranks certain ones, certain ways. Momilani in Pro City has taken pride in being #1 in the state for a long time. I'll just come on and say it. I've not participated in, but I've known people that have. They do this thing where it's like parent-teacher night and just a fun gathering to learn about Momilani. And they're paying attention to what kids are what and who's who and what families are what families. And it's an unofficial, unspoken interview for this public-private school. And I know someone out of district whose kids go to Momilani. So people will buy just for Momilani. Other notable ones are like, my kids go to Mililani. I'm not gonna say, actually I want to say where my kids go. But my kids go to school in Mililani. There are 5 schools in Mililani, Kipapa being the lowest rated on greatschools.com, Waiana being second lowest, Uka being in the middle, and that's on the Mililani town side. On the Mililani Mauka side, there's Mililani Mauka and Mililani Ike. Mililani Mauka and Ike, I think last I checked, were rated 9 out of 10. My wife, who is a school teacher, won't let us leave Mililani because of that school and taught there. Still teaches, still subs. Waikiki, Noelani, and Manoa. Waikiki,
Wilson. Wilson.
Where's Wilson?
In Kahala.
In Kahala?
Well, it's technically Kahala.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right behind Zippy's Kahala.
So Waikiki Elementary, I sold a house in Diamond Head and they were like, tell them about Waikiki Elementary. I didn't realize how sought after it is. And then I recently listened to a podcast. Some people may know the clinical psychologist, Jordan Peterson. He's kind of famous now, the one I shared the story.
Yes.
But he had this guy on his podcast who started this school using the Socratic method. Adults are not allowed to make declarative sentences. They only ask questions that are thought-provoking, etc. Anyway, it's very intriguing. The CFO of Hawaiian Airlines flew there to check it out. And on the way back on their layover, they said, we're moving our family to Texas. And the CFO of Hawaiian Airlines could, I'm sure, send their kid to Punahou or wherever. They said, we're moving our whole family here for the school. Kind of has nothing to do with the schools here. However, I Googled Socratic method schools, Hawaii, and then I saw this article. I didn't read into it, but it said, public school in Hawaii, Waikiki Elementary has 200-person waiting list because they do some unique things. There's a charter school called Dream House that I know a person whose kid goes there, and they just got like $30 million to build a building in Kapolei. Island Pacific Academy for private schools seems very intriguing. Someone whose kids go there. And then, of course, there's the notable private schools. Iolani.
The best.
Iolani, Punahou. If your kids are Hawaiian, they can go Kamehameha. I don't know that at Iolani or Punahou at 3rd grade you're getting much different of experience than Momilani or Mirilani Ike. I really doubt it. But it also depends on what schools mean.
I think they are.
You think so?
A little bit.
You're not biased?
No, I don't think so.
Half the teachers...
I didn't go there from...
You didn't go elementary?
I didn't go...
But half the teachers at like Mirilani Ike, they all went to Punahou and Iolani, and like these teachers went to have this like $500,000 education.
It's at the end of the day, you still have to work the crowd.
Jody's a unique one too, because her kids go to a prominent private school, but she's also like not that private school parent. So she's a totally unique one. I'm open to whenever my kids start having an opinion. If they like, hey dad, I really want to be an engineer and pursue calculus, then I will accommodate that. If they're like, I hate school, it makes me feel like lesser of a person, like it did for me, then I want them to not wait until the middle of their life like I did to realize that doesn't make you a bad person, and I will foster that as well. But I do want safety. So anyways, I think we hit on that enough. We're happy to address it in the future. Subaru, for me, non-VA buyer interested in potentially assuming a VA loan for a low rate. Do you think it might be worth it for VA seller to let go of VA entitlement to access large equity they have now? No. If you're a non-VA and someone other than your parents or something allows you to assume their VA loan, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. There's no reason they should do that. You're not
unless you're paying a massive premium.
Which would make no sense. Yeah, if you... So let's say home is worth $1 million. Market value. VA buyer lets you buy it for what 1.1, 1.2, whatever. If you have that much extra money, just buy the house conventionally, or it just could never make sense. That VA buyer will not be able to use their VA loan moving forward. We're not in such a 2009 market where there's no other way they can sell it. Now, if that were the case, there's 30 of the same home on the street in the neighborhood and nobody can sell, for sale signs everywhere, blood on the streets, maybe. But right now, no, because they could otherwise sell it. We're in a VA assumption right now. I think we're going on 7 months. It's horrible.
So stressful.
It's horrible. My client loves me, trusts me, but there's no way they can't have some animosity. They're like, what's going on? The people that hold the loan, I'll call them out. Mr. Cooper is a big wholesale line.
Servicer.
A servicer.
Mortgage servicing company.
Mortgage servicing company. They're freaking horrible. And they have no incentive to get the deal done. And they don't
have to.
They're supposed to.
They don't have to.
They're supposed to.
What do you mean? I mean, they're supposed to. You may let someone assume your loan.
Are you sure? Okay. I thought they had to. But in any case, they effectively lose money on it because they're giving someone a 2.5% rate today when the other loans they're doing are at 6 or whatever the rate is. And then they have to use human capital and leverage and employment hours to do it and resources. They effectively lose money. So I've understood and been told that they have to, but they effectively want to kill the deal because they make no money and they have no incentive to get it done. But Jody is the loan officer, so I should heed to her. But I think I'm right. Guarantee?
There are companies that will not perform an assumption.
For VA?
Correct.
I thought the VA, that was a stipulation of that government product, is that you have to let other veterans.
It's not that you have to, it's that you can.
Then why don't they just say no? It'd do everyone favors.
Because you're not talking to a decision maker.
Okay. If moving off the island, equity might be enough to... Oh, no, same question. Do you know if the proposed housing project west of Makakilo, north of H1, along the hillside is still in the works? West of Makakilo...
North of what?
What's
what, the water park?
What's west of Makakilo?
The water park?
Honakai?
No, but north... they're talking about Mauka of the freeway. Is there...
Kahivelo?
No, that's not Kahivelo. I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. They've built some things there. Like there's a gas station. I think that's where there's like the Mini Cooper dealership is over there.
All of that?
On that, but there's And are there a few homes there? There are, yeah.
Nah, not the many.
Oh, it's on the Makai side of the freeway there. There's a few townhomes or something. I'm sorry, I'm not really sure. Can a non-VA buyer assume a current VA loan of the seller? Technically, they can, but for all intents and purposes, it sounds really great. It's and it's not that just that I'm being cynical or like we're literally doing one right now, trying to do the best by our client. It's horrible.
But
Now
the seller's agent will advise their seller, because you're saying can a non-VA buyer assume?
technically they can.
They can,
The
but-
seller should say no.
Right. The seller's agent is going to advise them not to accept it, because then they'll be like, well, you won't get your entitlement back until X amount of years, until this loan is paid in full, if ever.
Unless that's your like your kid or something.
Yeah.
But here's a question. I wonder if that same servicer were fulfilling the delta, so they're giving a second position loan for the gap, if they would be more incentivized to get the deal done and do it. No?
They don't do loans.
Some loans are held at places that do loans.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
But most of those don't do subordinate financing.
I think the one that was proposed to me recently was Penny Mac, maybe, or there was one though. They were telling the agents, wasn't us, wasn't core team, but they were saying no, like we got it down. We do a lot of them in less than 2 months, like 45 days. We're fulfilling the second. We're covering the gap in second position. We hold the primary, and I could see where that would be faster. Maybe I just haven't seen it. It sounds nice. I just haven't seen it.
If you can get a decision maker on board with it and say, let's make this a program, it's a great deal.
Yeah. Is Keller Williams a good way to get in the business? Yeah, I think so. Depends on where you are. The thing, each KW is going to be a little different, although they do have a pretty solid culture as a whole. Just like Remax is a franchise, every Remax is going to be different. But there is a Remax culture, but for the most part, there's very much differences. Keller Williams more consistent, I would say. They kind of wrote the book on teams and things of that nature and taught it from the 90s into the 2000s. I think KW is a great training brokerage. It's a great way to get into the business. And then depending on how far you go, there may be other options to graduate to, or there's a lot of producers that stay at KW, but a lot of the KW producers, the high producers, they're anchored for different reasons. It could be their referral line because they've already built prominence in that brand and no need to switch to something a little more lean and efficient. Could be that they have equity in a title company or a mortgage company. There could be several reasons. This is high-level business stuff. We actually have another channel where we talk about that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you want to get into the business, I think that KW is expensive too, though. So KW sells these training programs and this coaching, MAPS coaching, etc. Great programs, and if you're going to open a business or you're going to get an education anywhere else, it's going to cost you a bunch of money.
Right.
So if you go into it with a business mindset, pay the $1,000 a month for MAPS coaching. Like, do these things because the upside is great. But most agents are limping in and don't want to invest in that way.
Right.
And you're going to find that these expensive coaching propositions can be kind of offensive to you. So it's hard to answer the question because I don't know where this person's mindset is. But yeah, I'm a fan of Keller Williams overall, although I'm not there. How much Pidgin do you speak when talking to clients? It depends. My dad was giving me a hard time. He's like, hey, you shouldn't talk Pidgin on your videos. You don't sound educated. Old Hawaiian man who like, he wasn't allowed in the hotels in Waikiki because it was too dark. You know,
Right.
But it just depends. Like if they're from Hawaii and they talk Pidgin, I just kind of start talking like that. Like, Casey met these other clients that you didn't meet them, but it just depends. I don't intentionally do it, and because I have such a varied past, born on the mainland, moved to Hawaii, joined the Coast Guard and was around officers and professional, speak, and then back to Hawaii. I speak differently, and it just kind of happens. And some people with less varied experience or understanding might think I'm being a poser, but it just kind of changes.
Yeah, it's just your feel.
It just happens for me.
It's just a feel.
What about
Like if I talk to Jody's
don't talk
husband,
pigeon.
if I talk to Jody's husband, it starts coming out.
Oh yeah, if you talk to Shane for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's just like you.
No, I was gonna say he seems like authentic, like totally authentic. Doesn't really change too much. Just kind of that's how he talks.
But no, he's like, people have met him in other situations,
Yeah.
and then they'll see him with his friends, and they're like, I couldn't understand what he was saying.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he turns it off and on as per the feel, as vibe, you know. I
Okay.
think that's what you do.
Yeah, it just happens. The land above the water park, Larry said. I don't
land above the water park?
Honestly, Larry, I don't know. But I actually, you know what? I've seen them clearing over there.
You know, he's probably talking about the road that goes, the new bridge. It's like right now it's a cattle gate. But
Yeah.
maybe it gives him the assumption that that road will continue up.
No, but I've seen them like when you look from Ko'olina towards the mountains,
Uh-huh.
it's like shaved off where it didn't used to be.
You're right.
Where they make, I don't know that
I've seen that too.
like
But
D.R. Horton or Castle and Cook or any of these builders have gotten that land. I guess I could look at tax record.
yeah.
I don't know. Marquez, who's on the plane, said, appreciate it, love your content. Yeah, Mark, hit us up. Let's buy a house. I almost moved to Ranchos Penasquitos. I shouldn't say almost, but I was looking at Ranchos Penasquitos, which is just right next door to Carmel Valley. But we could talk about that. It seemed like a great place for a Hawaiian to go down and live if they're going to stay in California. Mimi, which area is popular and lowest vacancy rate? I'm planning to buy for my retirement in the near future, but need to get it rented for a few years. We'll do 1031 exchange, sell my rental in San Diego. Mimi, popular with the lowest vacancy rate, which area? It depends on what you want, because if I say Eva is like easy to rent and you should, get a home there, that doesn't mean you should buy Eva if you don't like Eva, right?
Right.
So I start there.
Yeah.
But, and I would ask you, where in San Diego are you, Mimi? So are you in Carmel Valley Ranch? Are you in East Lake? Are you in North Park? Depending on where you are, if you want something similar here, let's focus on what's more rentable in that kind of equivalent here. But elementary schools, like places like Manoa and Noelani Elementary, etc., like you be able to rent that quickly, so it just depends. Ask us some more questions, guys. We're running out. What are some good ways to make new friends in Hawaii? Ken Wilson.
That's a great question. I love that question. I mean, you got to find, what do you like to do, Ken?
Just do your thing, Do your thing and probably lead with, depending on who you are and where you're from, it may be natural, just be you, or it may be the most extra respectful version of yourself that you wouldn't, rarely even bring to the table where you're from in Texas or whatever. Be that extra here and then taper it off as you're accepted. Sometimes styles don't match, but overall be you. That's why I say don't be someone you aren't. But sometimes me, when I go to my certain family gatherings, whatever, I gotta be the more, kind of less loud version of myself or whatever, right? 'Cause it's not fitting for the crowd.
Me too.
Yeah.
I would say though, there's literally every type of group of people that you can find, and it's like, what's your vibe? Like, is it
Just
cruising at the park and walking on that rope thing, or is it?
Yeah, the one they ratchet to the two trees.
Yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
I mean, that's majorly popular, FYI.
Yeah. It's like Kapiolani Park or Alamana.
Right,
vibes, huh?
right. Is it, whatever, shooting,
We have gun people here.
Yeah.
We have hiking clubs for sure.
hiking, yeah,
It just depends. Yeah.
running, working out.
Rancho Bernardo. Oh, Mimi. So if you're in Rancho Bernardo, is that what you want when you're here? But see, you might be in Rancho Bernardo in San Diego and be like, I really want Kailua though when I get here, which Kailua is generally, there's 10 parts to Kailua, but generally would be easy to rent out as well. It just depends. But feel free to keep commenting.
Cindy,
Sandy, how often do you see FHA loans being used for condo leaseholds? How troublesome is it finding a pet-friendly building for a condo? Pet-friendly depends on the pet. Under 25-pound animals, easier. Some are just no pets. FHA loans for leasehold.
Super tough.
Can you do it?
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah?
But FHA, so the problem with FHA, and the reason why FHA is so prevalent on the mainland and not so prevalent here is because of our price points.
Yeah.
So with the condos, a condo or a townhouse requires an additional FHA approval in order to even be able to do similarly to VA approvals.
Right.
99% of them are expired. So it's falling on the lender responsibility to do something called a FHA spot approval, which is possible, but takes a long time, so makes your offer a little bit less advantageous.
How long?
I would say at least 60 days.
Okay.
Okay. And then, or if you do a full FHA approval, that's going to be like 70 to 80 days.
Okay.
So that's approving the whole condo, reapproving the whole condo. Like VA approving an entire condo, we can do that in 30 days. So we can still do a 30-day offer.
If I'm the lender on a leasehold condo, FHA, I'm not speaking for Jody, but I would be like, it's probably not worth it. And unless seller is willing to pay buyer's closing costs, and then I tie some extra closing costs in so I make more money or something. Sounds like a lot of work for like a $100,000 condo.
And the biggest issue with a leasehold is?
Well, you don't own the land, and so it's depreciating. It's not a great investment. Is that what you want me to say?
That's not the road. But yes, 100% yes.
Do I need my lender cap on? Or what?
Yeah.
Biggest issue with a leasehold? I don't know. What is it?
Okay, it's the lease term.
Oh, okay.
So if your lease term is
less than 30.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 20 more years, you can't do a 20-year loan on it. You can't even do a 15-year loan. There's like a buffer period that the term of the lease needs to extend beyond the term of the mortgage.
Okay.
So it gets really, really tough.
Okay.
Not just FHA, I mean, even conventional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Five Van, what up? What up, Five Van? Maui or Oahu for Airbnb? Depends. Oahu is limited. That can be good. Scarcity can be good if you own the scarce thing.
Yeah.
Maui is less restrictive and there's more options. And if you want to be in Maui, and you know what I would say too is, where's the property manager that you love? Because if I don't care either way which island, I may make my decision on that property manager that I want to be with. In terms of which one's more profitable, I would say Maui might be a little more seasonal. Whale watching season affects the tourism industry and stuff on like Lahaina side a lot. But I found mine to be pretty seasonal too, so yeah.
Maui was, I mean, in general, I would say Maui is more like a
tourist island?
Yeah.
Yeah. That, and also there are so many Airbnbs that if you were to experience like a 2008 again, I think you're more vulnerable in Maui because there's just so much inventory, so many second, third, fourth assets that people are willing to just let go first. So that's another thing too.
Yeah.
I have my real estate license here in California. How similar are the laws and procedures there in Hawaii? How difficult is the test? I mean, anyone can pass the test if they study. Laws and procedures. If you're asking them in relevance to the test, I kind of like the test means nothing after you pass it. Almost nothing do you use in the practice of doing this business that's from the test. But in terms of how different is it doing real estate in California versus Hawaii, we're not as just our culture. So the deals aren't as cutthroat. The people aren't as rude to each other, I know. I have some unique ties with some California teams, maybe joining them soon. I used to live in California for a long time. Some things different, like property disclosure. It's standard to have all the disclosures like on the MLS, which would be good for everyone, but we just don't do that standardly here.
Yeah.
There's different inspections in California. We have termite for sure, but in California you may have, why am I blanking? Not radon. Radon's more like in the Midwest South. There are some other inspections, and then insurance I'm sure is a little different for the lender because of fire hazards and things like that.
Earthquakes.
Yeah. Earthquakes and yeah.
But we have hurricane.
In theory, we haven't really been hit by one. And
I mean, we have hurricane insurance.
you have hurricane insurance, yeah. Derek, did you ever eat at China Hut in Alameda? Which one is China Hut, Mike? Is China Hut the second floor? It's on Park Street, and it's on the second floor up top. If so, that's the one that Stan owns, a guy I knew from working out at the Palladium in Alameda. I forget if that one's China Hut or no, I think China Hut is off of Webster Street in Alameda, and they had their honey walnut shrimp. There's like a little hole in the wall, not too clean, but and they delivered. I think that's China Hut. Let me know.
China Hut.
Yeah.
Wow. I never went there.
Derek, if you are a self-employed entrepreneur, how does an underwriter determine if you qualify for a loan? Well, Mike, I have Jody Tonga right here. I know that being self-employed and making more significant money more recently, so me only investing in bookkeeping and things more recently, that I've given Jody a hard time in doing a couple of my loans to the point where we dropped me off of one of the loans and just used my wife because my books were all messed up. Yeah. Now they're clean and now we're good to go. So it's a harder loan to do and you got to have your stuff together. So better to start sooner if you're self-employed. So you can tell them like for me, it was like, I'll change the way you file your taxes, like all kinds of things.
Right, yeah. So we talk to tons of people that are self-employed, and we are strategizing based on the future. So ideally, you qualify now. There's going to be a 24-month look back, so 2 tax return years that I need to see, and I need to average that out. So what I see often is, I've been in business for 2 years. The first year I made like nothing or maybe negative, and then the second year I made like 180. So I have to average that out, and so we might say you don't qualify for what you're wanting to qualify for yet, but let's talk about 2023 and strategize on how you should build that out. Now, if you've been self-employed for more than 5 years, there's a chance that when we run your automated approval, we only have to do a 12-month look back. Oh. So that's something that, again, we won't know unless we run the automated approval.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
See, I'm learning with you. Mimi, my rental in San Diego is a 3-bedroom townhouse, but plan to downsize as I'm single, prefer a new 1995 plus building. Thinking 2-bedroom, I like gardening, so need bigger balcony, backyard. HOA 500 or less. That's a lot.
Sounds like West.
I think Launani or Waikalani. You want 2-bedroom. You want to slow down. You're in Rancho Bernardo. You want a newer, like not super new, but you want newer, more modern construction than old Hawaii shack style. You want a little bit of a yard. Launani Valley. Or Waikalani. This part of Mililani that's in between Wahiawa and Mililani. There's a place called Terraces at Launani, and on the ground floor you can get a bit of a yard. I think that a 2-bedroom at Terraces would be perfect for you, but we wouldn't quite meet the 500 HOA fee. But so you have to compromise and work with us a bit on that. But it sounds to me like Terraces at Launani, I could maybe see like a Waikere townhouse. Be careful with the PEC style plumbing. And I've sold a few in there. Like there's certain things, but I would say somewhere up to H2 from Waikere, which isn't technically H2, but ish. Waikere, Mililani, Launani, Waikare, the 96789.
Waikere's not H2?
Not really.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You go straight. Yeah.
Yeah. H2-ish. Yeah, Mimi, I think we just did a buyer consult with you in 3-4 comments. I think we're going to end up in a townhome in Waikalani or Launani, likely. Possibly in Mililani. I think you would love...
Yeah, Mililani.
You would love Ku'ulako. If you go up Mehe'ula Parkway, the main road going into Mililani Mauka, you go past the fire station, I think it's like the 4th intersection. On the right, you'll see these townhomes with these impressive yards. I used to live in, when we first moved back home, that's what I lived in.
What are the Ku'ulako HOA dues these days?
And those are actually fairly low. They're like around 450, 500, yeah. For the 2-bedroom too. And there's they have, so there's 5 units, and each one has like an ADU compliant 2-bedroom on the ground floor with no upstairs, and the best yard you're gonna find in a townhome in Hawaii. Yeah. Ku'ulako at Mililani Mauka. I think that's it. Mimi, I'll show you. I live right there, so we could FaceTime. I'll show you one. I live pretty close. Do you see Maui cracking down on short-term rental regulation? When I was talking to a partner agent over there, they were talking about how there are some proposals, etc., but just so many people own them, it's hard. You know, it's who knows. I remember Derek saying that Hawaii Kai looks like Sausalito Marin. Would you say it's similar in demographic culture like Marin? So Ken, you're asking me, is it, you know, kind of elevated and bougie like Marin? And you know Marin.
Yeah.
So, yes, in the Hawaii way.
I would say yes.
Yeah, I mean, understanding that the Bay is different than Hawaii, understanding that it is different, the Porsche driving by is more likely to stop for you in Hawaii Kai than in Sausalito, I would say.
Oh yeah.
You know, they might endanger you there, or something. But yeah, similar. You know, Lacoste pastel polo, white shorts, and some boat shoes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's these physicians that came in. They're going to be renting at first, but they were asking about Hawaii Kai and whatnot. Now, when I worked in healthcare briefly here, I can't remember hearing a physician talk about where they live and them not living East Honolulu. Of course there are.
Yeah.
I just don't remember a conversation in the OR or whatever where they weren't like, oh yeah, my house in Ainahaina, my house in Hawaii Kai, my house in Kahala. Everything was like Honolulu East.
Yeah.
So Marin might, the Bay is a little different because the hospitals aren't, it's, the geography and the arteries of traffic are a little different. But yeah, similar. Not to beat that to death, but yeah.
I mean, and it might, yeah, I mean, Sausalito Marin might be a little bit more bougie.
Yes, because California is different.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have the level of pretentiousness that Sausalito might have. Yeah.
It's like way more.
But to be fair to the people of Sausalito and stuff, like there are long-standing families that aren't like. It has its, you know, like there's like Kuli'o'o, there's Hahaione,
right?
Then there's like the marina. Hawaii Kai has its faces too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sausalito, Marin, on some of the smaller communities right there I'm missing. I can't remember, but yeah. Thanks for the idea. How about Colony and Hawaii Kai? I worry about the flooding risk, moisture. And potential mosquitoes. But if you prefer the Hawaii Kai vibe, then yeah, we're doing a deal at Esplanade in Hawaii Kai right now. You'd probably like that one, but it's a 1-bedroom and although big patio for like gardening in boxes and pots. It's not, you don't have like a dirt lot. Hawaii Kai, I would say, is a different thing than Rancho Bernardo. So
there's Kauai High.
Kauai High, yeah.
There's all those little townhouses in Kauai High. We used to own one there too.
How's the yard?
It's there.
Yeah, there. It's there.
I mean, there's room for gardening.
Yeah.
It's not like fenced off, but you know, because it's the marinas right there.
I would say too, Hawaii Kai is more similar in weather than Mililani would be. Mililani would be more of a wet kind of thing and lush thing. Hawaii Kai's weather is more dry, like Rancho Bernardo. So maybe, yeah. Lauren was just doing a deal with Jasmine and Marty, and they were talking about Colony. So I would probably connect you with my team member Lauren. Derek, China Hut off Webster, across the street from Shell Gas.
Off Webster.
Yeah. They had the bomb honey walnut. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
Why
crazy.
is listing status offer show used so much? Should you consider these as having strong offers and not bother? For the most part, yeah. If it used to say in escrow showing, and now they changed it to offer show. I don't know why the semantics, but for the most part, those are not going to become available. Ask us about it on a case-by-case basis. Best Mexican food joint, sound off. Taqueria El Ranchero, I would say. The original one's in Wahiawa. And then one of my clients makes burritos, SoCali burritos, like Southern California SoCali burritos. Like San Diego style with the French fries and carne asada and everything. Favorite tiki bar? That's not something that we do, actually.
What's a tiki bar?
A tiki
like
bar
drink
is
out of a fancy cup?
a tiki bar is like a hut with the grass and like kind of a bastardization of the Hawaii thing, which I'm not insulting.
Well, there is something called tikis.
Where's in Waikiki?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right next to the Marriott.
You need Jody? Yeah, she's late for a consult.
Oh, okay. I gotta run.
You gotta run.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us, Jody. All right, I'm gonna keep answering your questions. The news here in California showed a story about people swimming too close to a dolphin.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
How was it, Michael Phelps? How did they get close to?
It was literally like 20 people, and they were following this pod of dolphins.
Yeah, but a dolphin can just two flips and be gone.
Yeah,
Like,
the dolphins were cruising.
yeah, the dolphins obviously didn't mind. I don't know.
Yeah, DNLR got pissed, and they all got.
Really?
Yeah.
For me, I don't trip so much because, like, you know, it's not, you're not over there killing cows and eating hamburgers and killing chickens and eating chicken nuggets for most of you. And then if a dolphin wanted to not be by you, they could easily not be by you. Now I get it, like the seals on the beach, a little bit different. I know most of my Hawaiians don't agree with me. They're like, you know, they're bad people. But anyway.
You're right. iPad?
Who's, oh, that's Jody. Who? Irad. Thinking of buying in Makaha Valley, but what does it look like in terms of everyday stores? Like groceries, clothing, hardware. Desolate. There's nothing in Makaha. The closest thing you're gonna get is when you come out of Makaha into like technically Waianae, there's Tamura's supermarket and Hale Nalu surf shop. You could get some clothes. But for the most part, what you're asking, you're gonna go to Kapolei. You're gonna go all the way into Kapolei, which if there's traffic, it's a hike. If there's no traffic, it's still, what do you think, Makaha to Kapolei, 25 minutes still?
On a good day.
On a good day, no traffic.
What a contraflow.
25, yeah. No road work, right? But my guy here, when I asked him before, I remember him saying, if he could live anywhere on the island, it would be Makaha Valley and Mauna Olu. There's some estates up there that are beautiful, beautiful ocean views. But that hunker down, go to Costco, so you don't have to go back for a couple of weeks lifestyle is real there, you know, because you're way out there. I see it more as a temporary living place than a permanent living place. Ken, what would be the one? There's like an Indian food and maybe like a Nepalese food place in Kailua and stuff. You don't get that very often. Like Kapolei, does Kapolei have any Indian food or Greek or anything like that?
Asian.
I don't think so, huh?
Asian diversity.
Asian diversity, yeah. Hey y'all, we're currently seeing housing prices drop in many major cities that had hot housing markets during the COVID on the mainland. Do you think parts of Hawaii will follow? Joy, they already have. We've seen prices drop significantly in certain markets. We've also seen multiple offer situations anytime there's a little bit of a return towards lower interest rates. So basically what we have right now is a lot of fear and confusion in the market, buyers sitting on the sidelines, buyers had their remorse of I should have bought when rates were lower, even though the market was crazy. And I was like, I'm not going to participate in this crazy market. I'm going to wait for it to come down. Now they're realizing I still want a house, need a house. It's not coming down. And they're like, oh, all right, they're coming to terms. I'll buy. And then anytime there's a positive interest rate shift, they like jump on it. It could be advantageous to, I want to be careful to not sound like your classic real estate salesperson. But here's an example. My client, Drew, they were like, we're not buying at 630. We're not going to, or was it 660? Whatever the sellers are asking, we're not buying. I agreed. I said, you shouldn't. Sellers are asking too much. And they said, we're not in a hurry. Well, long story short, Drew is a Coast Guard friend of mine, and their emotional process was that they are in a hurry. They've made this decision. They're recently married. They want to be in a home. They have some cash reserves, and they wanted that place. They just wanted a better price, and the seller's willing to give it. So we wrote multiple offers, and we inched towards the sellers. We got a little improvement. I was totally comfortable not writing that offer, and I actually tried to challenge him. Let's not do it. He said, no, we want to. I talked to my parents. We feel good about it. We're going to do it. Well, fortunate for Drew, in escrow, rates improved. We got him a better rate. So not only had he come to terms with the price he was at, but now he got even a better rate, and his is like $200 less per month or something significant. If that doesn't happen to you, you can still refi in the future, especially if you have like a VA loan. It's easy to refi and inexpensive to do a VA streamline. So I hate the saying, marry the house and date the rate. But fact is, we have a supply shortage. We do not have the makings of a financial crisis like we used to. It may be buy the home now as long as all the elements are in place. Your money's right, your family's right, your decision and confidence and wanting to stay in this market is right. All of these things are right, and it's the right time. You're going to be here a while. It may be to marry the house, and when the rates improve, that's when you decide to reposition your finances. So we've already seen housing prices drop. Waiting for a 2008, I'm not doing it. I bought a house last year when homes were up. I'm looking to buy another investment this year. While prices are better than they were last year, but rates are worse, like I'm just buying because I like buying real estate and I believe in real estate. And even me, who's obsessive about this, I don't know that I'm going to time the right day in 2009 to strike gold. But if my finances are such that I can keep these 3 houses I bought and cash flow and have renters, and I can still be in position to make that amazing move the next time 2009 comes around, then I can do both. I know not everyone's investing trying to build a portfolio the way I am, but buy real estate and wait. It always works. And the longer you wait, the less significant your market timing will have been. If you're buying for a 3-year hold, well, then we have to get very specific about your timing and talk about your exits. When proving that you have funds for a down payment, do we need to have it in a bank account? Would money in a money market or at a brokerage be okay? Yeah, you could have money exposed into like Tesla stock if you want. It's discerned and scrutinized a little bit different way. Liquidity is different, and the value of that money tomorrow is more questionable. But yeah, you can have it in whatever fund. We can speak more intelligently with Jody whenever we set up your consult. I can't make up my mind about the area. I don't drive, so I have to pick the high to moderate walk score area. For that reason, not sure about Mililani. Oh, yeah. Well, we have a great bus system. But I get it. Maybe you want like better than just the bus system. You want like good public transit. I could see Hawaii Kai is probably still going to be bus because the rail doesn't go there. Or you could live in like Makiki and get a spot in the urban garden, but I know that's not as good. I think the Fed will keep interest rates high at the current level for the rest of the year. Interest rates will be higher at the end of the year. That's my bet. There's going to be multiple rate hikes. It'll be even higher at the end of the year. If interested in buying a second home, are there factors about the property, location type, construction, etc., that would put a property sitting alone for weeks or months at risk of developing mold? Sarah, are there... unless you have a consistent water flow, you shouldn't be developing any significant mold. Now, if a house is like in Hawaii, in a moist place, like all the concrete gets sort of mildewy and like deposits, and walls will get it. So depending on how long, I mean, it'll get musty smelling if you're like near the ocean or in a wet part of the mountains. But how long are we talking? And unless like plumbing leaks, or you leave the windows open in one of those areas, or you don't have like secured ventilation in one of those areas, we shouldn't develop a true mold issue. So depends. If you're gonna buy on like say like Oahu Manu, wet part of Kaneohe in the mountains, and your windows aren't very secure, and like you leave it for 6 months, like you come back to some kind of moldy, funky smells. But I like mold. You guys are like, what? You're crazy. I like mold in the sense that it makes everyone else afraid, and I'm not afraid of it. I bought the moldiest house on the island, literally, not like I bought the moldiest place on the island. We stripped it, gutted it, had it cleaned, and had it certified by an industrial hygienist, tested multiple times, air samples, tape samples, and did it the right way. As long as you clean mold, it's not gonna, it's not, people, there's a specific mold strand, Stachycoccus or something. That's what people refer to as black mold, although mostly all mold's black. And you don't know if it's that strand unless you send it to a lab. It usually is not that strand. And even if you treat it the same regardless, and you just clean it and get rid of it. So if something's moldy and someone wants to sell it to me for cheap because it's moldy, and then I get a discount, then that's great because they're afraid. Now, I would try not to exploit that person and do that. The first time I flipped that house, I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't have this level of confidence, and I was super afraid. And I told them I wasn't their best offer. I told them they could make more money otherwise, but they sold it to me, just to be clear. But mold's not as big of an issue as you might think, and I would buy a house anywhere I wanted without thinking about mold here. I just clean it often enough. If it's gonna be vacant for a few months, just go in and have a cleaner once or twice. Go. All right, we're probably gonna wrap it up here soon. Put your final questions in the comments. In order of best to worst for Malasadas: Leonard's, Liliha, Kamehameha. Is there anywhere other than Leonard's for Malasadas?
Bro, that's it.
That's it. Like, there's no other. If someone else has Malasadas, like, that's like.
ABC store yet?
No, people have Malasadas, but like, there's no other notable Malasada that I know. Like Shave Ice, there's a few places, right? Malasadas, there's really just one. Like, there's just one. Quick way to make some homemade malasadas that taste good. It's not real malasadas. It's not the Portuguese way of letting the yeast rise and all that stuff. But take a Hawaiian sweetbread. Cut whatever portion you want to cut. Dip it in pancake batter. Throw that in the oil, and then toss it in like sugar and cinnamon or whatever. It's a nice donut with the Hawaiian sweetbread in the middle. And if you wanted to make it purple and call it ube or something, you could. It's good. Brandon, likely going to rent for a few months while looking for a right home to buy when we move there. Is short-term rental market difficult to navigate right now? No, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You just go on Airbnb or VRBO or whatever and rent what you want to rent. Yeah, it's not too hard to navigate. In Ko'olina, most of those communities should be 30 days at a time. But no, not hard enough. If someone rents to you for a term other than what they're supposed to rent for, as long as they're not trying to scam you and they're just trying to scam the city, you don't get in trouble, I don't think, if you know they're renting it for too short of a term. I think it's only them that gets in trouble. But yeah, no, it's not hard to navigate. Mimi, mortgage rate is 3.5, but I make the bank pay for my mortgage. So I've been buying short-term treasury bill at 4.5. Smart. Punahou Carnival Malasada, Sarah. Oh, Sarah. I didn't know you were from here, Sarah. I have to ask. I've not had them. I'm gonna ask Lauren. Lauren on our team, she went to Punahou. Ask her if, and she's a townie, so I know she respects Leonard's. I want to see what she says about the Punahou Malasadas. Kamehameha Bakery Malasada is great. What is Kamehameha Bakery?
I learned today what.
In Kalihi.
I don't even.
Usually when it's like Cam something, Kamehameha, like Kalihi.
Probably in between.
Kamehameha.
And Kamehameha.
Yeah. I don't know. When looking for a property, is it ever possible to get a copy of the HOA rules before putting in an offer? Yes, we can get you those, maybe, potentially. Here's the thing. If there was a previous escrow and I possess the HOA docs, I'm technically not supposed to give them to you if someone else paid for them if they don't give me their permission. However, usually I can get you our team can get you some docs somehow, and or usually you don't need all the docs, like you have like a specific question, like your breed of dog or whatever, we can get those answers before writing the offer. In fact, it's imperative that we do. We've been going for quite a bit. Looks like the questions are all wrapping up. If you guys have some final questions, put them in here. Other than that, go to coreteamhawaii.com, connect with us. Who is Mark? Mark, you got to connect with us, my man. I hope that we are your agents of choice, so you're coming over here to house shop. And but I respect if you're just kind of not like checking things out right now, you're not ready yet. But yeah, we love to buy and sell real estate with you guys. So go to myhawaiihomevalue.com. That'll push you to the home value part of our website for a home value. Go to coreteamhawaii.com. Just check out our new site because we paid a bunch of money for a nice, cool new site that's more on brand. And let us know what you think about our podcast setup. We're gonna paint this wall. So I'm thinking about whether to do a mural of sorts or just a flat color with maybe a painting here. We'll probably do that here, and then on the other part of our content studio, do like a really loud street art type thing.
What about the merch?
The merch. Oh. Hey, for everyone who's in there right now, go to the shop. So when you go on YouTube and there's like channel or home videos live, if you go to shop, we only have one design in there. It's like this design because I'm just getting it set up. But for everyone watching this in the future, we're gonna have all types of Hawaii stuff, just everything Hawaii in our shop. We have so many people that maybe never gonna buy a house, or just Hawaiians who are on the mainland who watch us and want to support the channel. One time I went live in the gym and I was walking on the treadmill, and people just started sending money to say thank you. And rather than someone do that, rather than get an item of value, and I love getting cool shirts of stuff I like. So we have a fulfillment center, so it's print on demand. So they'll print the core team stuff for us and fulfill it and ship it and all that. But it's not just going to be core team. It's going to be moving to Hawaii. I miss Hawaii. I used to own a T-shirt brand, so we're going to start ideating, making some cool T-shirt stuff that's just cool, either way. So we're going to have a bunch of Hawaii merch that can go on mugs and bags and shirts and hats and all that kind of stuff. So go to our shop section. I'll have to plug that first next time. All right. Thank you, guys.
Who's floating?